I've been thinking about this concept for quite some time, and it seems like I've been having difficulties trying to wrap around some arguments that would properly support my personal viewpoint on this. I realize that a lot of people have already talked about this already on the internet, but as I'm one of those people that kind of thinks outside the box, I thought I would actually just try adding my own 2 cents worth. So here it goes. I've personally been seeing a lot of people on their smartphones lately, and they're going through sites like Facebook, they spend a lot of time on Twitter, they spend a lot of time on YouTube, and we're told that it's okay to sit there for hours on end, scrolling through pages, liking and commenting on things, because that's what social networking is supposed to be. That's the new social experience. And this kind of disturbs me. It disturbs me because people seem to take the idea of friendship and other types of interactions for granted nowadays. The idea of adding someone as a friend on Facebook is, a very popular idea that a lot of people believe in, and they're like, oh, I met somebody at this location in real life, now I'm going to go add them on Facebook, and now they're my friend. And then it turns out that the people that you add, you don't actually end up talking to for months on end, but you see their post and you're like, wait a minute, if I'm your friend, why aren't you talking to me, or why don't we talk? And then when you go to actually connect that person, then you find that you're actually less connected than when you first met that person in real life. Here's the difference. Here's why you are more separate from that person in real life than you were online. When you are with somebody in real life, you can look at them, you can see them, you can watch their eye movements, watch their eyebrow movements, you watch their facial expressions, you hear their tension in their voices, you hear their voice tones change, you see them motion with their hands. If they're one of those people that speaks with their hands, they do physical body movements and things like that. And that's what really humans are designed to do, is to interact in that physical way, in the physical realm, right in front of each other. Now let's look at what you end up doing on Facebook or other sites. Like, I'm not specifically pointing out specific sites, I'm just saying that these are some of the sites that are popular, and these are what people have a tendency to crowd around. On Facebook, you're told that in order to interact with somebody, you should comment on this person, or you should follow them, or you should like their comment, or like their picture, or tag them in a photo, or make a photo album, or play a game or with that person, or some kind of idiotic idea. And you're told that this is what social interaction is. This is how you interact with people in the virtual realm, and it's to be regarded as a natural thing, when in fact it's not. Too many times have I met people who were friends with each other online, and next thing I know, I meet them in real life, and I usually end up catching like the tailwind of some argument they had with somebody on a social site, or somebody said something nasty about somebody else, and then suddenly there's this huge drama and everybody's freaking out, and it's acted like it's a big deal, and people lose perspective of reality versus the virtual realm. And that's a serious problem. People's lives end up being more stressed and more destroyed, and they can't get anything done because they're too stupidly concerned about what the next comment's going to be on something that they post. I also find it interesting that living in a modern age where I see more kids with iPads and cell phones, and they're like 5 years old and they're playing on these devices. When I was 5 years old, I was playing with Legos and making Lego animations with really primitive software, and having the time of my life, and didn't have a care in the world, and didn't care about some phone or what game is on there or what have you. I remember sitting at a shop some time ago, and I was sitting across from a young individual who was watching some movie on her iPad, and her mom was trying to figure out how to use it, and then next thing I know, she's sitting there with her headphones on looking at some movie. And I thought to myself, when I was her age, I was bored and I was out somewhere with my mom, I was drawing things in coloring books or doing puzzles, physical puzzles are right in front of me. I could touch them, I could change the pieces, I knew how things went together. I was very good with puzzles as a child. But then I look at this modern age, and these kids are getting, they're getting younger and younger, and the devices are getting newer and newer, and they're getting exposed to this. They're getting exposed to it at a much earlier age, and frankly, they really shouldn't be, because it's not encouraging intelligent brain growth. At least I personally don't think it would be, because it's not teaching them to make things with their hands or how to interact with people. The other downside to social media, it seems, is when companies exploit our interaction to fill their pocketbook. How many times has it said in the news where so many people made so much billions of dollars off of, some site. Mark Zuckerberg is a person who comes to mind who, is a multi-billion-dollar individual, and he's only somewhere about in his 20s or so, and he's making money off of us interacting, quote unquote, with each other, and we're told that this is okay. I don't like the idea of somebody making money off of me because I feed their servers with information and things that in a couple of years are not going to mean a thing to anyone, let alone myself. I don't post about what's personal in my life. I don't post about what's going on in my life. I may post the occasional picture to Instagram occasionally, but it's not anything really personal. And if it is, if I do post, I usually try to post constructive things, hence posting things on YouTube. And also the irony is that, I ask people to comment, like, and subscribe on my YouTube channel, but I don't do it as a way to exploit to make money. I want them to subscribe to my channel because I make content that really, quite frankly, makes their life easier to live. Content that offers some value to them, that after they're done watching a video, they feel like that they learned more than they did a few minutes ago. The internet should be used in a way that educates people and makes people feel like they better understand their world, a way of connecting with people in such a way where you can teach, you could do like a teaching video, for example, and learn something from it, or you post on a forum and says, and somebody goes, how do you make this? And someone's like, oh, I made this recently. This is how I did it. That's where I think it's okay to quote unquote interact, but it doesn't actually really replace human interaction. Nothing could ever replace what it's like to be in the same room with someone that you care about. I think it's interesting where couples will be like, oh, we're now boyfriend and girlfriend, so it's Facebook official? I'm sorry, what? I don't mind it when, couples post about them spending time together, but I don't think that should be something that's all over the internet. And I'm going to talk more specifically about, relationships and stuff where, it's say if it's a boyfriend, girlfriend, or husband and wife, and they're like, oh, I just went out on this great date with my wife. Well, that's great, but although that's cool to hear that you're in such a good relationship with this individual, I didn't really need to know that. And that's something that should be kept personal to yourself. Social media is just the most impersonal way of interacting that has ever come about in this modern age, and I think that is sad and disgusting. My friend Archie showed me something a little bit ago that kind of proves my point about how that social media can cause people distress and difficulties. It was about a young girl who was dealing with some issues at school and such, and you see her, very upset and on the brink of tears and things like that and such. And I sat there and I thought to myself, this is exactly why, first of all, young kids should not be on social media, and two, this proves my point that it's not natural for us to do this. If you have a problem with somebody, you shouldn't go posting on the internet about it. You shouldn't try to make nasty memes or post nasty photographs or whatever, all to make yourself feel better. People can also use social media as a power trip to make themselves feel bigger than someone else. They can also use social media as a way of escaping the world, which is bad, because you're turning the social site into your sort of your own virtual realm, but you're also making it your god because it's the center of your life. It's all you do and all you think about. And if you're one of those people, you really need to stop. It's not healthy, and it's going to cause you a lot of problems and may inhibit you to have solid real friendships in real life away from that social world. I guess to bring some closing arguments, I guess I would say this. Human beings need to get away from the social sites. They need to turn off their phones. They need to put them away or lock them in a box and go outside and go meet people that are real, that are in front of you and can interact with you, and before you know it, may actually end up caring about you. People use social media as a way to feel like that they're cared about because they can't find anybody decent in the world. And yes, I know the world is getting more worse. It's hard to finding friendships, but don't use a website to interact with one another and to find a relationship or a friendship with another human being. That's not natural, nor should ever be accepted as such.